How can this be for the greater good?
Get your game on!
You make me sick! Shut it! So, since the last time I talked about YuGiOh was a hit, I figure I might as well tackle another part of YuGiOh. That charming anime that talks about friendship.
Card games on motorcycles.
And, of course, talking about cult behavior.
Okay, I was kind of with you until that last bit.
What? Yes, surprisingly enough, YuGiOh does have its darker moments and themes going on with it.
Acceptable.
Even with the dubbed versions either being cut off prematurely, or how the voice acting can be hit or miss.
Cause I'm about to high-five.
But even GX, a series that people seem to be a bit meh on, had its darker themes despite its brighter setting. Oh, but people, there is a darker side to the show. Or in this case...
I finally woke up, and I've seen the light. The Society of Light. It holds all the answers.
Can't stop laughing.
Yes, there is a cult in the actual YuGiOh anime series, and I gotta say, this show actually depicts the cult pretty well. It's a warning to those who watch it, and there are several reasons why people join cults, with psychological reasoning behind it. So throughout Season 2, we're shown that a good chunk of the main cast of YuGiOh get roped into the Society of Light. Manjome-jun, Asuka Tenjoin, and Daichi Misawa. And yes, I'm going with their Japanese because...
Get your game on!
Shut up! And if we want to be a bit more loose with who's helped with the Society of Light, Edo Phoenix. Even though he wasn't actually a part of the cult, he was still used as a tool for the society, but he holds another representation related to the cults that we'll be getting to later in the video. First, let's start with Manjome.
Manjome-sanda.
Those unfamiliar with the character, Manjome is a character who fell from grace. Quite literally, actually. He was one of the elites of Duel Academy, always glue, and was at the top of his class, and was even part of the Manjome group, which was a family that was at the top of the political and business worlds, with Manjome being the youngest member. In the world of GX, Duel Monsters is one of the leading forms of entertainment.
Card games on motorcycles.
And Manjome was set to become the leading duelist in the world, so that his family could control business, politics, and entertainment. Of course, anyone who's seen the show knows that Manjome has lost to what the school considered to be a dropout. Well, if you listen to this guy.
It's grade A academic trait!
Eventually, Manjome was brought down from grace, kicked from his cushy life at the top of the school to the point where he left it. Throw in the fact that he was actually disowned by his own family, Manjome's place in the world was lost. Yes, when he became he was on his way back to the top. Heck, he got 3 Stooges. However, Manjome was stuck in a shadow, the shadow of the main protagonist, Yuki Judai. So long as the hero duelist was around, Manjome would be stuck in his shadow, a mountain that Manjome would not be able to conquer. Sayo preyed on that inferiority. In fact, it's something that happens in real life, preying on the insecurity that Manjome had, giving Manjome-sanda the abilities to conquer the one thing in life that has not only taken away everything he once held, his status, his family, his wealth, all the while that one thing being admittedly an annoying happy-go-lucky character. Oh, and he also stole his shrimp. Sayo gave Manjome a chance to grow stronger, and to point out, it actually worked. After being brought into the Society of Light and becoming a high-ranking member, Manjome-sanda was able to defeat 2 duelists who had previously fought and lost again, Asuka Tenjoin and Daichi Misawa. Granted, the second one is a lot more debatable, but we'll get into that. Point is, not only does the show the cults prey on weakness, but it also gives an allure, providing the means of fulfilling in something that's missing. Speaking of the characters that Manjome thought, Asuka Tenjoin's joining the cult is a little bit different. Unlike Manjome, Asuka's development is in the complete opposite. She was able to find her lost brother who was missing for a few years. Sure, she may be embarrassed by him.
Oh. Huh? What are you doing?
You know, just big brother stuff, like taking embarrassing photos of you that I can show Mom and Dad later.
No, you will not.
And Uncle Doug and Aunt Gail and Cousin Alana. Oh, ugh.
You're not showing any...
But that's just family, they do that all the time. Honestly, looking at Asuka, she doesn't have a reason to join the Society of Light. Yeah, she's brainwashed after her duel with Manjome, so how does this relate to a cult? Well, to be honest, women are statistically considered to be more than willing to join religious gatherings than guys. The same goes for cults. Now this is from a doctor from Virginia Commonwealth University, and granted I tried searching for that study.
He did one Google search for 2 minutes.
Thank you, straw man. So take what I said with a grain of salt.
And feel free to call him sexist.
Still, it's something to bring up. Now, at this point, we actually come to the character that shows the dangers of cults, Daichi Misawa.
Acceptable.
Before we get into the topic of the Society of Light and Misawa, can I say that I hate how Misawa got treated through GX?
You know she can't carry a tune. I was trying to help girls. So complex.
Seriously, Misawa was my favorite character in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX and arguably the whole franchise. I know it's weird for me to say that, but considering that unlike most of the other protagonists, most of the characters for that matter, Misawa actually works on his skills and intelligence using mathematical formulas and science to fine-tune his decks, actually minimizing the luck variable. It's something that's reflected in the actual game, and it was something really relatable if you played the game during the GX time. The only reason why he lost was due to outside forces. And puberty.
Girls, so complex.
He was considered one of the best duelists in his class. But as time went on, he became less important, and was turned to a joke whenever he was on screen.
And then there's Jaden. He wins everything. And how? With luck. Maybe dueling isn't about logic.
And who did we get in return?
That boy's a few trap cards shy of a full deck.
A dinosaur pseudo-military man, who was turned into a dinosaur that he sends into space to smash a satellite.
Get used to disappointment.
Yeah, that's really an upgrade, thank you. At least in the manga, Misawa gets a better deal. Back on the topic, the fact that all his friends seem to move on without him, ignore him, or at points just mock him, he was left behind. He was alone, and that's something that cults will prey on. And in fact, we see that in the show. We see that Sayo does tempt Misawa.
Bastion, you want to prove yourself? Well, now's your chance. Lose this duel and join my society. Leave your friends behind.
And it works. Misawa loses, and he gets accepted into the cult. Also, he has the most badass transformation too, so... Now, we're going back to what I said earlier. If we look towards Edo Phoenix, his motivation and action in the show, we see him going after criminals in an attempt to find the criminal that took his father's life. One of the psychological reasons that people have joined CUP with cults is to save the world. It's a bit of a stretch, but then again, considering that this is the show where people who do save the world with card games, Edo represents a close friend that tries to pull people out of the cult. Edo is friends with Sayo, and they've been friends ever since they were kids. And eventually, Sayo became the leader of the Society of Light. Yes, he had an evil celestial entity inside his body, which is a representation in and of itself, but that's still something that Sayo accepted and created the Society of Light for. Edo is a person who tries to pull his friends away from the dangerous cult, and YuGiOh is the same since he's the only successful one to actually pull his friends out from the Society of Light. It takes time, effort, genuine caring for the person to pull them out from the dangerous mindset of cults. Although for Misawa, they gave him a different out.
Aha! That's it! Like the butterfly sheds his cocoon, I must shed my past! Can't he do that with pants on?
Thank you, writers, for giving my favorite character the most dignified exit you could think of. Running buck naked! But what do you guys think? I think GX showed a really good representation of what cults can do, how it can affect people, and how they pull people into it. I just wish it was easy to defeat cultists in a children's card game. Still, let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and if you want to see more about this stuff, let me know. I'm TrashCommon, and remember to examine your fandom.